Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to explore Nigeria's national AI strategy for 2024.
Okay.
It's a draft document, but still super interesting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. A lot of countries are starting to think about this stuff now.
Exactly. And just imagine, AI helping farmers in Nigeria predict the best crops to plant, or doctors being able to diagnose diseases way earlier, and cities running more smoothly. That's the potential Nigeria is aiming for.
It is fascinating to see this now, especially as we enter 2025.
Yeah,
A lot of experts are saying this year is going to be huge for AI development.
totally. So this document, it comes from the Federal Ministry of Communication, Innovation, and Digital Economy,
Okay.
or FMCID for short.
Right.
And they didn't do this alone. They actually worked with a bunch of experts,
Oh, wow.
like the Lago Business School, Data Science Nigeria, and even some government agencies like NITDA and NCC.
So they're really taking this seriously.
Yeah, it's like they put together like a dream team to figure this out.
Well, that's smart because AI is not something you can just figure out on your own. Right.
It takes a village.
Totally. But before we get too far, let's back up a sec.
Okay.
Why does a country even need an AI strategy?
That's a great question.
Like, you don't need a plan for the internet to just show up, right?
Exactly, and that's a really good point. It's important to remember that AI is different from other technology. We're talking about systems that can make decisions,
Oh, wow.
sometimes really big decisions based on all this data they're trained on.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, so a national strategy makes sure AI is used ethically and responsibly,
Right.
so it helps everybody and minimizes those risks.
So it's like a blueprint for how AI should be used.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
Think about building a house. You wouldn't just start throwing bricks together without a plan, right?
No way.
You need a solid plan to make sure everything is safe and strong.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
So it's about making sure AI benefits people.
exactly.
Okay, well, speaking of AI showing up, what's the AI scene like in Nigeria right now?
Well, it's kind of a mixed bag right now. A lot of potential, but also some challenges.
The document actually talks about this a lot.
Interesting.
On the one hand, Nigeria has a huge population and a lot of young people who are really tech savvy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They've got this fast-growing tech startup scene, especially in Lagos,
I've heard about that.
and some pretty impressive government initiatives like the National Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics,
Wow.
or NCEIR for short.
So they have the foundation, a real drive for innovation.
Absolutely. And the government is taking it seriously. They've got this program called 3MTT to train 3 million Nigerians in tech skills.
Whoa, 3 million.
Yeah. Over the next 4 years. That's a big investment in the future.
That's huge. So it sounds like they're doing a lot of things right.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned challenges. What are some of the hurdles?
Well, infrastructure is a big one.
Okay.
Did you know Nigeria only has 6 data centers
What?
for over 200 million people?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and data is like the fuel for AI,
Yeah.
and you need the infrastructure to store it, process it, all that stuff.
So it's like they're trying to run before they can walk?
Yeah, kind of. And then there's the funding issue. AI research and development costs a lot of money. And while Nigeria has a strong economy, they still need to make sure they have enough money for AI.
So those are some pretty big challenges.
They are,
But it sounds like things that any country trying to get ahead in AI would face.
definitely. But there's also something unique to Nigeria.
Really? Like what?
It's called the Japa syndrome.
Japa syndrome.
It's actually in the document.
What is that?
It basically means brain drain all these highly skilled professionals.
Oh, so the people who could really help drive AI innovation.
Exactly. They're leaving Nigeria for better opportunities abroad.
That makes sense.
Yeah, especially if the infrastructure and funding aren't quite there yet.
So it's like they're training all these amazing experts, but then they leave.
Exactly. So the strategy needs to not only address the technical stuff about AI, but also the social and economic factors that cause this brain drain.
Right. So it's a much bigger picture than just the technology itself.
Definitely.
All right. So they have a lot on their plate, but it sounds like they're not just ignoring the challenges.
No, not at all.
What's their vision for AI in Nigeria?
So their vision statement is to be a global leader in harnessing the transformative power of AI through responsible, ethical, and inclusive innovation, fostering sustainable development through collaborative efforts.
Okay, so it's a mouthful,
Yeah.
but it sounds like they really want to use AI ethically.
Right, and for the benefit of all Nigerians.
I like that a lot. So how are they going to make all of this happen? We've talked about challenges in the vision, but what's the actual plan?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. They've outlined 5 key pillars of action to make this vision a reality.
5 pillars.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Let's hear about those.
Okay, so those 5 pillars: building foundational AI infrastructure, building and sustaining a world-class AI ecosystem, accelerating AI adoption and sector transformation, ensuring responsible and ethical AI development, and developing a robust AI governance framework.
Okay, so a lot to cover.
Yeah, a lot, but it's all really well thought out.
Okay, well, let's break it down.
All right, sounds good.
Let's start with that first pillar, building foundational AI infrastructure. That sounds like the basics, but really important.
Definitely, you can't build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation, right?
Right.
So this pillar is all about investing in the essentials.
Okay, like what?
Think high-performance computing, those data centers we were talking about.
Yeah, definitely need more of those.
Exactly. And then supporting the development of AI hardware and software, the building blocks.
So it's like creating that digital world that AI needs to function.
Exactly. It's like building the roads and power lines for a new city.
So setting the stage.
Exactly. And they're actually proposing tax breaks to encourage private companies to invest in this stuff.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, because the government can't do it all alone. It's going to take a team effort.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the second pillar? Building and sustaining a world-class AI ecosystem. What does that even mean?
So this is where it gets exciting. It's about creating this network of people, researchers, startups, big companies, investors, even policymakers.
Wow, so like a whole AI community.
Yeah, all working together to make AI happen in Nigeria.
But what about that Japa syndrome we talked about?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
How do they plan to keep those talented people in Nigeria?
Well, they have a few ideas. First, they want to create these AI centers of excellence.
Okay, interesting.
They'd partner with universities and research institutions.
So like training grounds for the next generation of AI experts.
Exactly. And then they're looking at talent transfer programs to bring back Nigerian experts who are working abroad.
Oh, so enticing them to come home.
Exactly. And most importantly, they want to create an environment where AI professionals feel valued and supported.
So making Nigeria a place where they want to stay.
Exactly.
Okay, that's great. So we've got the infrastructure, we've got the people. Now, let's talk about actually putting AI to work. What's the third pillar all about?
So the third pillar, accelerating AI adoption and sector transformation. It's all about actually using AI to make a difference in people's lives.
Okay, so getting down to business.
Exactly, taking AI out of the lab and into the real world.
Okay, so less theory, more application.
Exactly.
So give me some examples. How are they planning to use AI in different sectors?
Well, in agriculture, think AI systems helping farmers optimize their crops.
So like knowing when to plant, what to plant.
Exactly, even predicting weather patterns and managing resources.
That's amazing.
And then in healthcare, AI could help doctors diagnose diseases earlier, personalize treatment plans, maybe even assist with surgery.
Wow, that's incredible.
And in finance, AI can help detect fraud, assess risk, and personalize financial services.
So making everything more efficient and secure.
Exactly. And even in government, AI can streamline processes, improve decision-making, and provide better services for citizens.
So AI could really touch every part of life in Nigeria.
That's the idea.
It's pretty exciting stuff. But with all this talk about AI's potential, we can't forget about the risks. How does the strategy address those ethical concerns?
That's where the fourth pillar comes in, ensuring responsible and ethical AI development. This is where they outline concrete steps to make sure AI is used ethically in Nigeria.
Okay, so more than just talking about it, they're actually doing something about it.
Exactly. One of the big things is the creation of an AI ethics expert group.
Right, we touched on that earlier, but I want to hear more. Who are these people?
So they're like the ethical guardians of AI in Nigeria.
Okay.
It's a group of leading experts, not just in tech, but also in ethics law, social sciences, even philosophy.
Wow, so a diverse group of people.
Exactly. And they're going to provide guidance on all AI development, make sure it aligns with Nigerian values, and doesn't cause any unintended consequences.
So they're kind of like the moral compass for AI.
Yeah, something like that. They'll be looking at things like bias in algorithms, data privacy, the overall impact of AI systems on society.
So it's like an ethical check before any AI project gets the go-ahead.
Exactly. And they're also really emphasizing transparency.
Oh.
They want people to understand how AI works, how decisions are made, what data is being used. It's about building trust.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
People need to trust this technology if it's going to be widely adopted.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the infrastructure, the ecosystem, the applications, the ethical framework. What about regulations? How are they actually going to govern all of this?
Right. That's the fifth and final pillar, developing a robust AI governance framework. It's all about creating clear rules and oversight for AI development.
So, like, making sure everyone plays by the rules.
Exactly. They're proposing an AI governance regulatory body, an independent entity with real power.
Okay, so what would they do?
Well, they would enforce those ethical principles we talked about, making sure everyone's following the rules.
So they can actually punish people who break the rules.
Exactly. They'll hold everyone accountable, from the developers to businesses to government agencies. It's about creating a fair and level playing field.
Wow, so they've really thought of everything. From the tech to the ethics to the regulations. It's impressive.
It is, especially for a country that's just starting out on this AI journey.
But this is still a draft strategy.
Right.
No plan is perfect. What are your initial thoughts? Are there any areas that need more work?
Well, it's a really solid foundation. They've clearly done their research, and the strategy is comprehensive and forward-thinking. But like any draft, there's always room for improvement.
So you're saying it's a good start, but could be even better? What needs more attention?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is data governance. The strategy mentions it, but I think it needs a more detailed plan for how data is collected, stored, shared, all that stuff.
Right, data privacy is a huge deal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially with all the personal data involved, they need to establish clear guidelines and safeguards for how data is handled.
Yeah, it's like they've built a Ferrari, but they haven't figured out the rules of the road.
That's a good analogy. Data governance is definitely something they need to flesh out more.
Agreed. Anything else?
Yeah, another thing is the impact of AI on jobs. They talk about reskilling and upskilling programs.
Right, preparing people for the new jobs that AI will create.
Exactly. But I think they could go further in outlining specific strategies to help people whose jobs might be completely replaced by AI.
So people who might be left behind in this whole AI revolution.
Yeah, exactly. For example, they could explore something like a universal basic income.
That's a safety net for people who lose their jobs.
Exactly. It's about making sure everyone benefits from AI, not just a select few.
That's a really important point.
It is. And while the strategy talks about attracting international talent, I think they could also do more to nurture homegrown talent.
Right, because Nigeria has so much potential right there.
Exactly. They've got this young population that's eager to learn and innovate. They just need the opportunities.
So invest in education, create pathways for young people to get into AI.
Exactly. It's about empowering the next generation of Nigerian AI innovators.
I love that. So overall, it sounds like you're pretty optimistic about Nigeria's AI strategy.
I think they're on the right track. They're asking the tough questions, addressing the challenges, and they've got a bold vision for the future.
And the fact that they released this as a draft strategy shows that they're open to feedback.
Definitely. It's an invitation for collaboration, which is so important for something like this.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, we think this is a good plan, but we're open to making it even better. Let's work together on this.
Exactly. And that's really encouraging.
It is. So for our listeners out there who are interested in following Nigeria's AI journey, what should they be paying attention to?
I'd say stay tuned. This is just the beginning. Keep an eye out for updates to the strategy, see what happens with those AI centers of excellence, and just watch how Nigeria uses this technology to make a difference.
Because who knows, maybe one day we'll be talking about Nigeria as a global AI leader.
I think it's definitely possible. They have the talent, the drive, and now they have a plan.
Well, it's been fascinating diving into this strategy with you. Thanks for sharing your insights.
My pleasure.
And for our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Nigeria's AI strategy. We hope you learned something new and maybe even feel inspired to learn more about AI and its potential to shape the future. Until next time, keep exploring, and remember, the future is full of possibilities.